Shabbat Shalom. A lot happens in this week's Torah portion, Beha'alotecha, beginning with the bizarre name of the Torah portion, Beha'alotecha, which is actually not one word, but probably a combination of at least 3 words. But at the end of this week's Torah portion, there's an episode between Moses and his siblings, Miriam and Aaron. As you might imagine, Moses often ends up looking, well, like Moses. Great, measured, thoughtful. But one of the things that the text tells us this week is that Moses is the most humble man all over the world. The text takes a moment out to stress Moses' humility. This is a passage that I've talked to you about before, probably more than once. But I want to share a slightly different take on this with you this year. Here we have Moses. We know that Moses' beginnings were somewhat humble. He was concerned about his disability. He wasn't sure if he was the appropriate leader. He was. God knew that he was the appropriate leader. In fact, Moses' humility, if you will, always is assured by God, and on some level, perhaps, it was a little bit easy for Moses to be humble. But the reality is that what I think this week's text tells us, by going out of its way to stress Moses' humility, is to tell us that it's never easy. The reality is, anytime any single one of us does something incredible, and we all do it, there is that spark, that shred within us that might be tempted to be a little bit haughty, a little bit arrogant. And yeah, I know what you're saying, a little bit's not such a big deal. But Maimonides was obsessed with this. And in fact, many rabbis, the idea that humility is the most important virtue of all, because a lack of it leads you down an unconscionable path. So perhaps this lesson of Moses is not just that, wow, Moses could be humble because even though he was so great, he was still humble, but rather, Moses was humble because he understood that it was a daily grind. That every time he did something, he had to fight that instinct, that urge, to pat himself on the back rather than giving credit to those around him, rather than giving credit to God. Shabbat Shalom.